All right, so hello everyone. I'm Judy Garcia. I'm the career counselor for the College of Science, and I want to welcome you to Careers in Science, a series of informational interviews that I hope you'll find valuable. And so with that, I want to introduce Janesh, and I'm going to have him start by introducing himself. And so Janesh, why don't you tell us about yourself, your background?
Hi, my name is Janesh, and I graduated in 2018 with a Bachelor's of Science in Computer Science. And I started out my career by doing some research, freelance, and some internships while I was in university. And then once I graduated, I joined Amazon full-time. And currently, I'm still working, but on a different team within Amazon Web Services as a software engineer.
Great. All right. So, so my next question is, how did you decide to major in, let's see, you majored in computer science. So
Right.
how did you decide on your major in the first place?
So in high school, I knew that I liked math a lot, and I really enjoyed my calculus classes at the time. And now, but I was also like passionate about the environment and interested in, you know, trying to prevent global warming and things like that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I was also like involved in computers a lot, and I used to like work on building them and just messing around there. So those were kind of like my floating interests at the time. And when I went into university, I actually went in as an environmental science major.
Mm-hmm.
And then after taking like, I wanted to like figure out though, like, you know, kind of how computers work and that kind of thing. And after taking a intro to CS course and some math courses, I
Mm-hmm.
realized that they kind of go hand in hand. And I really
Yeah.
enjoyed the computer science theory and things like that. So I decided to make a switch and head towards that side of things.
That's great. All right. So, did you do an internship before you graduated? Okay.
Yes, I did.
So I'd
So,
like to know more about that and how you
right.
about how you learned about your internship. How did you find the lead, all that?
So my first year, I couldn't, like I applied online to internships just by kind of like searching online for computer science internships and things like that. And I could not get an internship. So I ended up doing a summer camp teaching kids programming. And I found out about that through a career fair since they tabled there. Uh, and I also took that summer to kind of make a personal website for me. And I also reached out to like friends and family because I realized that I probably need some experience or something to put on my resume.
Yeah.
And one of my family friends wanted a website for their business just to like kind of get the word out. So I made one for them for free and was able to put that onto my resume as well.
Mm-hmm.
So then for second year, I was kind of a lot more prepared because I was able to have on my resume like a couple of these projects and the freelance type of work experience and the summer camp stuff. And then in the second year, I used my career fair and a lot more companies were interested in my resume there. And I
Interesting.
also applied online and I found like a lot of internship like lists that
Mm-hmm.
people collected together. So I applied to those. And so I got an offer via the career fair by a company who I talked to from there. And then I also got an offer from Amazon, who I just applied to from
Mm-hmm.
online. And that's kind of how I landed my internship.
Wow, that's great. Um, Anything in particular that you learned from your internship that you've carried with you so far that's been really valuable for you in your career at your work at Amazon now?
Right. So from my internship, I think I learned like a lot of obviously like technical skills because I had to learn everything like we needed to do. But I think the main thing I gained was a lot of the soft skills I needed to actually work in a team and to kind of realize what I needed to work on in order to be effective in the workplace, like how to be present during team meetings and to like not zone out and to like
Oh, that's
kind
good.
of be able to know what's going on, understand, and also be in like interact in the meetings, like ask like relevant questions and
Good.
give your opinions without being like too scared.
Yeah.
So learning how to do that, learning how to ask questions to mentors, to peers, to managers
Mhm.
when I need to, but also not too often, you know, like finding that balance so that, you know, I'm not like stuck for a week blocked on this one issue, but at the same time, I'm not like constantly interrupting people and asking them, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? Um, so like I learned a lot about that. And then also being able to like set expectations and be able to ask for feedback and to apply that feedback from my mentors, my managers, and my peers there. And in my internship, that was like a big deal of getting hired, because what would happen is like they judge you based on your growth. So they want to see you be able to apply that feedback. So as an intern, you kind of have to learn how to ask for it and how to
Interesting.
actually reflect on yourself and be able to apply that. So those kinds of skills really helps me like move the needle on my full time as well, because I'm able to apply them every day and try to keep improving and keep growing my career.
That's really good. That's really insightful. That's great. Um, okay, so my next question is were there any unexpected experiences that led you to your current career? And did you actually begin on one career pathway, or you in a little
Mm-hmm.
direction and end up where you are now?
Yeah, so as I kind of stated in my introduction, like at first I didn't really want to do or like wasn't in computer science, and initially I had like some misconceptions about it as well, because I thought computer science was kind of very like programming where you just sit all day and you like kind of just type stuff.
Yeah.
And I had learned like some programming and it was just like not very interesting to me when I did it on my own. But then when I took some of like the more theoretical classes and like some of the math classes where some of my professors in math mentioned like, oh, a bunch of this stuff can actually be applied to computer science, and this is how. And then that kind of led me to get more interested in this career path and to kind of like explore in this direction.
Mhm. Very interesting. Cool. All right. Um, so you went to UC Santa Cruz, right?
Right.
So as a student, what would you say were some key skills that you gained um, during your time at UCSC
Mm-hmm.
have stuck with you that have been really valuable with
Mm-hmm.
you to this point?
So I think there are two main categories. One category is like the class category.
Mhm.
So like some classes helped me a lot in terms of like the classes would ask certain problems which are not like very obvious on how to solve. It's not like you have to just calculate something, but you have to kind of, they're kind of open-ended and you have to come up with a creative solution and kind of determine, like explain how it works and how it actually solves the problems and things like that. And those kinds of things are often also what I'm asked to do at work, because generally you get an open-ended problem and you have to come up with a good solution. You have to write like a doc on it. You have to present it to the team. You have to say, okay, this is the solution. This is why we're doing it, why it works. And then you go and do it, right? So it's kind of very similar there. And that kind of helped me get the framework of things at first. And then another type of class were like the project-based class, which helped a lot, because those were kind of my first experiences working in a team and being able to kind of divvy up different roles, divvy up work, and hold each other accountable like we
Yeah.
do at work. And then the second category, which helped a lot from my university, is I got pretty active into clubs.
Mm.
At first, I would just go to them, and I picked up like a lot of knowledge from there, and a lot of knowledge from like the seniors who were there, who had
Uh-huh.
like gone through these experiences before. And afterwards, I joined the leadership team for one of the clubs, and I was able to learn a lot by hosting workshops, speaking, by reaching out to professionals and trying to entice some of them to come speak at our events.
Mm-hmm.
So it taught me a lot about like networking, presenting, leadership, and hosting effective meetings and all those kinds of things, which are very relevant at work.
Yeah. I'm really glad to hear you say that because I am always telling students to join student orgs and
Right.
how there are, and we have, San Jose State has something like 400 orgs, some kind of,
Wow.
a lot. And
That's crazy.
the thing is a lot, you know, many of them are very active and they invite alumni and employers
Mm-hmm.
to come and talk. And I do hear about students that are finding opportunities through those clubs. So you
Mm-hmm.
have said something I think that I hope a lot of students decide they're going to go ahead and take advantage of, you know, into the fall. So, okay. So, so with that, are you doing any other, in addition to the student orgs, are you doing any other kind of networking, or is there any networking that you would recommend that students do?
So generally, a lot of my networking I did was through the student clubs, because I was able to meet a lot of my peers,
Right.
because we would have like large meetings and I could meet peers that were in the same major, peers that are in different major, and I was able to like make friends and like meet people that are still part of my network today.
That's
Um,
great. Yeah.
and also meet professionals through the events that they were hosted there, and also
Mhm.
by reaching out.
Mhm.
In addition, I also leveraged career fairs quite a bit. So I would go to a lot of them. And it's kind of hard to make an impression in the short amount of time that you're there. But by doing like research into the company and kind of coming up with unique questions that kind of show like, you know, the company and you're actually
Mhm.
interested in what that person does and what that person has to say, helps a lot. So I was
Yeah.
able to make some connections with some like recruiters and also employers from the career fair. And when I was a student, I also had, when I was initially applying, I also had issues with my resume not getting many callbacks. So what I did was I also leveraged the career center to do resume reviews for me. And I also cold messaged some recruiters on LinkedIn. So I
Mhm.
would connect to them and message them. And a lot of them didn't respond, but some of them
Yeah.
did, which was very helpful.
Yeah.
So I was eventually able to like clear up my resume, fix all the formatting stuff, and then I started getting a lot more callbacks. So that helped a lot
Mhm.
between the
Mhm.
career center and recruiters.
That's great. That's great. So that's a good boost for the Career Center for sure. What about LinkedIn? How important
Mhm.
to have a LinkedIn profile and keep it up to date?
Yeah, so LinkedIn helped me a great deal when I was looking for jobs, in terms of being able to like reach out to people that are currently in the position I want to be and asking them for advice, and also like asking like recruiters for resume critiques and things of that nature.
Mhm.
And even now, I keep it pretty up to date. And like even though like my LinkedIn profile is set to off, I still get like generally a steady influx of various requests and messages
Mhm.
from students and recruiters alike. So it's kind of a great way to stay connected and to meet with people who you might have not met with otherwise. So I met a couple of my mentees through there. I see different opportunities coming through sometimes.
Mhm.
So I can always like it's like very easy for me to chat with those people and to figure out, you know, what's the opportunity here, what are they looking for, and things like that.
Yeah.
So it's like a great way to kind of stay connected with the professional world in a sense. So I definitely use it a lot, and I think
That's
it's very
great.
helpful.
I agree. So we're getting ready to wrap up, but I want to ask you, so you've given a lot of really valuable information today. So what I would like to know is what advice in general, what advice would you really like to highlight for students in this field and getting ready to graduate or looking for internships? What would be some advice that you feel would be really valuable for them?
Right. So I think one of the key things, like some of the key things, is that we look for in interns and new grad engineers is we want our, like, the new engineers that we hire and the new scientists to be very curious and proactive, and also to be able to think critically. So those three are very key. And I think you can definitely, like, students can definitely like shore up those skills and practice them by trying to like work on extracurricular projects and things of that nature, and also put them on their resume. And it kind of sends like a very strong signal to employers that, oh, this person is very committed to their field of study. They're very committed to like seeing like to this topic, and they actually want this, it sends that kind of signal, and it's something that we really look for. And thinking critically also just doesn't apply to like showing it on your resume, but also like being able to think about, being able to reflect on yourself and to think about, where do I want to go and what is blocking me from going there. Like if I'm looking for an internship, right, and I'm just practicing a lot of interviewing, but I'm not getting any interviews, there's kind of a disconnect there, right? Maybe it's best to focus on the resume bit first and then move in that direction. So being able to think about like goals and kind of map out that flow, and being honest to oneself about where you are and being able to improve on those things like step by step, I think helps a lot in continuing to move through your career.
Great. All right, so we're going to wrap up. Is there anything else you can think of you'd like to add?
I think that's about it, but I just wanted
That's
to add one last thing is like a lot of times like you may go into something thinking that you like it and that this is right for me, but then in the end you kind of realize that, oh, this may not be a good fit for me as a person. And it happened to me like that time with environmental science, and it also happened to me within computer science, because I used to do machine learning and data science originally. And I realized later that, okay, this is getting pretty boring for me, honestly, and I don't know if I can continue doing it like for a full career. So then I made a switch to like another subfield. And I would recommend like students like kind of be open to exploring things. And if I wasn't open to exploring things, I think I might have even dropped computer science as a whole after that experience, because I was like I was pretty sad. I was like, this is like something I idealized for several years, and now that I'm here, I don't like it. But luckily I had explored different things, and I was like, okay, maybe I can pivot to this and see how it is. And then I found that I liked this other niche a lot more, and I was able to make it work there. But it's just about being able to explore and seeing what you like and dislike, and seeing what you want to pursue.
Well, that's why having an internship, getting any kind of hands-on experience is the way to go, because you really don't know until you try it. And either
exactly
fall in love with it, or you might for a while, or who knows. And that's part of how it works, too. So it's like you're in a really good place now. You're enjoying your job and everything.
Yep, definitely enjoying my job. And I think I've been on like 3 different teams now, but I found like a really good fit now, and that kind of level of exploration kind of led me to where I am today, and to realize like this is really what I want to do for at least like the next few years, and then we'll see where I go from there.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, I want to thank you for joining us and being willing to
Mhm.
share your information with College of Science students. And just stay well and take good care.